Ep.3, the horrifying death of the dog in the haunted house. Mr. Danes paused again, as if to let Hannah feel the eerie chill of the story. Objects on the kitchen shelves began to fall to the floor without any clear cause. Glasses, plates, and bowls suddenly dropped and shattered on the tile. Ash couldn't explain it. There was no wind, no movement to make them fall. They just dropped, for no reason at all. Then he started hearing knocking sounds from somewhere inside the house. The sound was irregular, echoing in bursts, as if an invisible hand was tapping on the walls. Ash rushed to check every room, every hidden corner, but when he reached the source of the sound, there was nothing there. It was as if the house was playing tricks on him, a sinister game of hide and seek with no explanation. Mr. Danes paused again, his gaze dark and intense, as if he wanted Hannah to fully grasp the terror and mystery Ash had experienced. These strange signs, Miss Osborne, were only the beginning of far worse things the house had hidden away. Mr. Danes took a deep breath, his eyes distant, as if recalling the horrifying scenes he was about to share. Hannah sat silently, her eyes locked on his face, awaiting his every word. Ash's dog also started behaving oddly. Mr. Danes continued, his voice lowering with a sense of gravity. After 5 p.m., it would act strangely. It always stared up at the second floor, barking frantically, as if it saw something terrifying. Its barking echoed throughout the house, creating an unsettling sound in the quiet atmosphere. Ash couldn't understand what was happening. He tried to calm the dog down, but it wouldn't stop. The barking grew louder, forcing Ash to take it outside to avoid the noise. Yet even outside, the dog was restless. It ran around, barking wildly, its eyes fixed on the second-floor windows with a look of fear. Its gaze, it seemed, was focused on something unseen by human eyes. Mr. Danes looked at Hannah, his eyes filled with a deep sorrow. Every time the dog barked, Ash felt something was wrong. He stood by the window, following the dog's gaze, but saw nothing but pitch-black darkness. At times, he sensed a chilling presence, like someone was standing right behind him, staring at him from the shadows. Do you know that feeling, Miss Osborne? The feeling of invisible eyes watching your every move, sending a shiver down your spine. That was what Ash endured every day, every night in that house. His dog didn't only bark at night. Even during the day, it wasn't calm. But after 5 p.m., its panic would peak. It would run around the yard, growling and barking hysterically. Its eyes stayed glued to the second-floor windows, as if a ghost was lurking inside, watching and taunting it. Hannah felt the fear and tension through each word Mr. Danes spoke. She imagined the dog barking crazily, its terrified eyes staring into the empty air, and Ash, confused and powerless, trying to understand the bizarre things happening in the house he had once thought peaceful. Mr. Danes paused briefly, his eyes tense and dark. Hannah listened intently, her heart pounding faster as the story continued. One stormy night, the thunder roared violently. Mr. Danes began, his voice blending with the sound of the rain outside the window. Ash was lying in bed, trying to sleep through the storm, when he heard the frantic, panicked barking of his dog. It sounded like it was facing an invisible threat. Mr. Danes stopped again, looking at Hannah, his eyes filled with deep fear. Worried, Ash rushed outside to bring the dog inside. He opened the door and stepped out into the pouring rain. The cold raindrops hit his face, but he didn't care. He just wanted to find his dog. As he stepped into the yard, the dog was nowhere to be seen. The barking had stopped in the stormy night. leaving only the sound of thunder and rain hitting the ground. Ash called the dog's name, but there was no response. He searched everywhere, from the yard to the bushes, as anxiety swelled inside him. He went back into the house, and when he reached the living room, looking through the window facing the pool, a horrifying sight appeared before him. Mr. Danes said, his voice quickening. His dog had been brutally killed. Its body was dumped by the pool, blood pooling in bright red streaks on the tiles. Its fur was matted with mud and wounds, deep cuts slicing through its flesh. Ash stood there, frozen, unable to believe what he was seeing. The scene was so horrific, it felt like an invisible hand was squeezing his heart. His dog, his only loyal companion, had been killed mercilessly, and no one knew what happened that stormy night. Mr. Danes looked at Hannah, his eyes filled with the weight of secrets and horror. That night, Ash didn't just lose his faithful friend. He realized that this house hid far worse things than he had imagined. Every corner, every shadow could hide something haunting and terrifying. Hannah absorbed every word, imagining Ash standing before the mangled body of his beloved dog, the fear and dread flooding his heart. She couldn't stop herself from shuddering as the image of the brutally killed dog appeared in her mind. Mr. Danes took a deep breath, his eyes reflecting sorrow and the burden of the terrifying events. Hannah listened carefully, sensing every vivid and chilling detail of the story. The pain of losing the dog haunted Ash, something he could never forget. Mr. Danes began again, his voice somber and filled with emotion. He buried it right behind the house, under the shade of a large tree. Every day, Ash would visit its grave, feeling himself tormented by the gruesome death of his beloved animal. The image of the dog's mutilated body haunted him, leaving him restless. Mr. Danes continued, his voice steady yet heavy with grief. To ease his loneliness, Ash decided to rent out the first floor of the house at a low price. He hoped that the presence of others would help him forget the pain and the haunting memories. Some young tenants quickly agreed to move in. At first, they were cheerful, unaware of the house's dark past. Mr. Danes went on. They arranged their furniture, decorated their space, and enjoyed their freedom. But little did they know, from the moment they stepped inside, they became part of the horrors lurking within. Mr. Danes paused again, his gaze piercing through Hannah, as though he could see into a world filled with ghosts and nightmares. Ash began to notice that the strange occurrences didn't just happen to him anymore. The knocks, the footsteps on the wooden floor, the eerie whispers, they all happened at night. The tenants started reporting terrifying dreams, ghostly images appearing in their sleep. Ash tried to reassure them, telling them it was just their imagination. But deep down, he knew the house was hiding a terrible secret. Mr. Danes said, his voice dropping. He couldn't shake the feeling that this house was alive, watching and controlling everything inside.